the Lord, and that is what we saw. So now in this verse, Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra. So far after that Vishwarup was shown, and then Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra that, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjun trembled fearfully, offered obeisances with folded hands, and began flattering to speak as follows. So then Arjun started saying, because he was really perplexed. I mean, imagine if you're seeing this, the form of the Supreme, how would you feel, you know? O Rishikesh, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you, although the perfected beings offer their respectful homage. The demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. Now, you see, a demonic person will always be afraid of. Whenever you talk even about God to someone who is very demonic, he'll say, I don't want to hear, keep me away from this. If you invite him to any of, spiritual functions or things, he'll just say, I don't want to come, keep me away from it. It's a party, you don't invite somebody, he'll feel bad. But if you have a spiritual function and you invite somebody, he will still not come. So, especially categories of people. So, somebody will love to come. So, he's saying that the divine people, they are all happy, and the demonic people are afraid and they are fleeing from here and there. Oh, great one who stands above every Brahma. He stands above every. You are the original master. Why should they not offer their homage up to you? O limitless one. Underline the word limitless. There is no limit to the virtues of God. O refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. So whatever causes, he is the cause of all the causes. Whatever is happening is also because of him, because we've said about the karmic chain goes on and on and on. You are the original personality, the Godhead. You are the only sanctuary of the manifested cosmic world. You know everything and you are all that is knowledgeable. You are above the material modes. What are the three material modes? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. So he says you are above these three material modes. O limitless form, because there is no limit to his form. The whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. You are air, fire, water, ether. You are the moon. You are the supreme controller and the grandfather. So he's everywhere, everything. In the previous chapter, remember, we said in the 10th chapter that he's in the moon, he said he's in the sun, he's in the horse. Money to live. He is everywhere. So here even, again, Arjun is now confirming. Before, Lord Krishna was telling Arjun. Now Arjun is confirming that he is everywhere. Thus I offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times again and yet again. Obeisances from you from the front, from behind, from all the sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading and thus you are everything. So everything is the Supreme Lord. But, because of the lack of knowledge, we don't understand him. It's only because of lack of knowledge. Only if we understand even a few verses of the Bhagavad Gita, a few verses of the Quran, a few verses of the Bible, you'll see ultimately it says the same in every scripture. Every scripture says the same. And then Arjuna is saying, I have in the past addressed you as O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, without knowing your glories. Please forgive me whatever I may have done in madness, in love. I have dishonored you many times. while relaxing, while laying on the same bed or eating together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. Please excuse my offenses. Now, would you say that these were Arjun's offenses? Would you say that? Huh? Anybody? Would you say these were Arjun's offenses? He is asking for forgiveness. He thinks he's offended because he didn't know who he was. So similarly, even in our life, sometimes certain people come in our life, but we don't know who they are. And then what happens? Because we don't know who they are, we offend them. Or just said that, he had, in madness of love, Arjun was always in love with Krishna. And he always said, they were playing together, they were sitting on the same bed, they were eating together. Now, even if you have maybe even a minister or even just, a very high post level coming to your house, you wouldn't just treat him casually. Here, Arjun was always treating Krishna casually, which Krishna didn't mind, right? But Arjun was feeling bad because sometimes even you can treat somebody very casually and then you'll start feeling bad that, oh my God, was he this person? Was he really that high level post? And look how humble it was. Here, it shows the humility of God. It's the Supreme Lord, but still when he can come in any form, anywhere, right? And when he was there, Arjun took it lightly. But when shown the real form of the Lord, which is beyond this universe, many heads, many this, then he realized, oh my God, what have I done? Am I just playing around and being friendly with somebody who is the supreme person? That is what he started feeling. But in the actual sense, God did not feel bad. God did not take this as an offense. So God doesn't take offense from us at all in any ways. And so sometimes even this happens to us, but we should always be careful who we are talking to. We don't know sometimes. So respect everyone. Because sometimes you may be this may even work the other way around. You may be very rude to someone. Don't stop doing this, stop. And you may be really, really aggressive to someone, but you wouldn't even know the level of that person, how he has come to you. Maybe he doesn't have money, but he has a lot of knowledge and he'll keep quiet, even if you chastise him. So don't chastise anyone. Don't chastise anyone in your life. Be very, very humble. Humility is very important. Very, very important. Humility is the key. Another key to go back to God is also humility. But what need is there, Arjun? Krishna is telling him. For all this detailed knowledge, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. He says that there's no need of all this. Because if I can, with remember I told you the story of the seed, that cobbler and the Brahmin. The cobbler showed the seeds and said, if this seed, and he's put the whole tree inside this seed, what can't the Lord do, right? But the Brahmin, who was already very, very pious and, claimed to be pious, didn't have faith. So faith is so important. You are the father of the complete cosmic manifestation, the worshipable chief, the spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. Within the three worlds, you are immeasurable. Now, two words. One, father. You are the father of the manifestation. As we said last time, a father is not going to hurt the child like Ducky, Darshna. You asked me that question that I will, it's a big offense for me to do the Gayatri Mantra, this, that, right? He's the father. A father never takes the offense. Yes, a father can punish the child if the child does something totally wrong, something sinful. But if you're doing something, unknowingly or knowingly, whatever, and whatever is not wrong, and people can tell you you're doing this wrong and that wrong, that does not mean. So father will never ever ever, or a mother will never ever unnecessarily punish the child, but we are always put in this dilemma, and we still do that to our children. You don't do this, you'll go to hell. Don't do this, you'll go to hell. Don't scare your children. One word, God loves you. Bas. And God will, and you see, do everything for you correctly. Can you mute yourself, please? Okay, another one. You are the spiritual master. This comes to the question of Shobha. Shobha, you had questioned Guru, right? Guru means a spiritual master. And here Arjun is confirming to Lord Krishna, you're also the spiritual master. So as Chaitya Guru, when I said about 4 types of Guru, one is Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, Vatma Pratikshta Guru, and Chaitya Guru. So he is as a Chaitya Guru guiding you inside. He is also as a Guru in the Bhagavad Gita who is guiding you throughout the reality. Okay, so Guru in the 4 forms, one of the forms is himself only, is the greatest Guru. You are the Supreme Lord to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respect and ask you mercy. Please tolerate the wrongs that I have done to you and bear with me as a father with a son, or a friend with his friend. Remember here. Okay? Or a lover with his beloved. I'm going to talk about 3 relations here. A father and a son. How many times we've heard a son is chastising the father. I don't like my dad. My dad's always pushy. And my dad's making me do this. And my dad wants me to do this, but I don't want to do it. And all that, So, but the father will not take it in. The father will forgive and forgive the son. So, I have done to you, and bear with me as a father bears with the son, right? The father bears the son at times, okay? Maybe lucky people have sons who will be very, 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 very humble, do not harm, but many times we've seen in the world this is happening. Or a friend with his friend. Now, true friendship, we are always saying, this is my best friend. This is a very good, even as children, even as youngsters, like Simran is a young girl here, as youngsters, we always thought, oh, she's a good friend of mine. After a while, what happens? Oh, she did this to me. I don't like her anymore. She's not my friend anymore. She's not my friend anymore. Conditions, because she didn't do something according, or he didn't do something according to your conditions, your liking, then the friendship is broken, right? But true friendship is unconditional. Unconditional. True relation is unconditional. You don't have conditions if you love someone. You don't have conditions if you are friendly with someone. Have him as a friend. You can be having, even I have at the moment, even I can say, I have so many friends, but I don't pick up the phone and talk to them every day, or maybe even once a year or once in 6 months or something. But we were friends back in the days. We're still there. Our energy is still at the same level, without any quarrels, without any fights. Don't have conditions in your relationship, otherwise it's not a true relationship. And now, or a lover with his beloved. How many people say, I love you so much, girls, boys, husband, wives, loving relation is there. But then, when their conditions are not fulfilled, bang, divorce, right? You did this, so I don't like you anymore. I'm filing a divorce against you. Over and over, you keep on telling me this. There is no tolerance. There is these days no tolerance in our relationship. So that tolerance is so important. If you tolerate a relationship, don't break relationships easily. People on little things, they just break the relationship. They may be loving somebody for months or years, and then I've even heard that just the other day somebody was saying that they're 65-year-old man, and the wife is 62, and they got divorced after 45 years of marriage over a very small issue, right? So why have these conditions? If only, there's a secret. If only for that much span of time when there's a quarrel happening, yes, there is difference in opinion for everyone. A husband has a difference in opinion, the wife, even the color of this wall is not good, I needed it pink, why did you make it white? Little things, difference of opinion is there. Even in your hand, look at your hand, okay? At that time, be patient, look at your hand. Even your 5 fingers are not the same. They are not the same, right? You can't say, why is my this finger not that? I'm going to pull it and pull it and pull it, otherwise I'll break it because I want it to be this height. Or why is my little finger so small? I'm going to pull it. If it doesn't pull, if it doesn't get to this level, I'll just break it. Would you do that? You wouldn't. So relationships are like your fingers. Different sizes, different opinions. But yet, you're not going to throw them away. So don't cut your fingers. Don't cut your relationship if there's any flaws in them. If there's any difference in opinion, tolerate those differences. And you see, the next minute, the person himself will feel better. Oh my God, I told her so much and she's still tolerated. She's still okay. You breathe, it's hard. We are humans, right? We are not supernatural people that we can go above that. But the best way is come out of the situation. Take the car away or go away for a walk when there's a fight happening, when there's a difference of opinion and there's a tension. Go away for a walk. Or walk in your garden, or walk just outside, or sit outside, go in another room, lock yourself and breathe, breathe, breathe. Listen to your breath, listen to your breath, listen to your breath. Then you feel the other person breathing the same breath. Visualize that same person breathing the same breath, same breath. He's not going to be breathing carbon dioxide and you're breathing in oxygen. It's the same breath. That same breath is a spark of God. It is the connection of God. Think that way, right? If you can't think so far, then just listen to your breath in one room and ask forgiveness within yourself, and automatically that person will forgive you. But if you hold that grudge, if you hold that hatred, then divorce after divorce, and then what happens? The children suffer, and everybody suffers. Everybody suffers. So power of tolerance is very important in relationships. And here, that's what Arjun is saying, that I may have done to you to bear with, as a father bears the sons, he tolerates. A friend also bears another friend's this thing, or a lover to his beloved. Please forgive me. There's no harm in asking for forgiveness. The person asking for forgiveness is greater, right? After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I'm gladdened. But at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me. Reveal again your four-handed form. Now, this is a very key verse. Arjun is not asking him to come back to Krishna's form, the two-handed with the flute. He's telling him to come back with the four-handed form. Because we say that Lord Krishna is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, right? But then beyond even the four-handed form, there was something else, the universal form. So from the universal, the four-handed, then the two-handed form, it came down. But beyond even that was again the spiritual world, right? So this is the percent of, so he's saying, therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead. O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. What do you mean by abode of the universe? Where the whole universe is in him. O universal Lord, I wish to see you in the four-handed form with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, lotus flower in your hand. I long to see you in that form. So from the universal form, Arjun was petrified. I mean, imagine, even you had to see, you look up in the sky and you just see so many heads and so much fire coming out and so much, even just in the sky you see something different, you will be so much in dilemma. Similarly here even, Arjun was perplexed. I mean, he was really in fear. What's happening? What is this? Even though it was the Lord's universal form, right? And he said, show me your four-handed form. The four-handed form has a conch shell. What is the conch shell? Conch shell is to remove negativity in your life, right? Conch shell and the club. What is the club, right? And then the wheel, the Sudarshan Chakra and the lotus flower. All these four hands have a symbol. The symbol of the lotus flower is stay in this world like a lotus flower. A lotus flower grows in mud, grows in the, but its petals never touch. It's above, and it's so beautiful, right? So you even stay above this material entanglement, material illusion, which is going to pull you down. Just stay above. That's the symbol of the sun, of the lotus. The symbol of the chakra is that cut off all that hatred, jealousy, greed, anger, cut off with the Sudarshan Chakra. Even when you do the Sudarshan Kriya is not just the breath, but with the breath, you're visualizing that Sudarshan Chakra to cut off all that negativeness. If you've even done a Sudarshan Kriya with your breath, and then you again have that malice in your mind, jealousy, greed, hatred, envy, then there's no point in doing any. So that Sudarshan Chakra is to cut off these negative things in life. Then the conch, as soon as you blow the conch, everything purifies. So that is why the purity within you. Around you may be negative, but they have that conch blowing inside you all the time. When that conch is blowing inside you, automatically it will free you. It will just free you from all that negativity externally. Right? So we have these four things. He has the four things in the hand, and that is, he needs to see that form. The Blessed Lord said, my dear Arjun, happily do I show you this universal form within the material world by my internal potency. You know what is the internal potency? This internal potency is the female Shakti. That's why we call it Radharani, right? Alladini. It's called actually Alladini Shakti or Alladini Shakti. Alladini Shakti is the internal potency of the Lord. And he said that this is from my internal potency. No one before you has ever seen this form. So Arjun was the first one. Imagine, because he must have been at such a purified level, and yet he was acting like a normal human. So sometimes we can have many people in our life who are just like normal humans, but their level in the eyes of God may be very high. So refrain from judging people. We are not the judge for no one. Refrain from criticizing people because we don't know who has come at your doorstep, who has come in your family, in what way, which soul you have been connected to. You don't know. એટલે we say, in Gujarati it says, Angane aivu dushmanne avkaro apo. That means even if an enemy comes at your doorstep, call him politely, call him nicely, give him some water, give him a seat, even if he's the most demonic person, even if he's an enemy, right? Do this, because you don't know who has come at your door when you don't even know the person. Don't be judgmental. No one before you has ever seen this unlimited, glaring, effulgent form. Oh, best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen the universal form from form of mind. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen it. Okay. We were talking that giving charity is very good, definitely. Sacrifices is very good. You know, when you do the yagyas, very good, right? Studying the Vedas is very good. Okay, all those things are good, but still, that is not enough for you to see the universal form. Then what is it? What is there by which you can see the universal form? Anybody answering that question? Shobha, Dashna, Rina, what is there? What will make you, if he says studying the Vedas is not going to show you his universal form, sacrifices, charities, then what will show you his universal form? What will show you?
I don't know, your belief, pure at heart, like your heart.
Yeah, surrendering.
Wants to see that?
Surrendering. Arjun surrendered. Until 10 chapters, Arjun did not surrender. When Arjun surrendered totally, 100% surrender and love. Only two main things, 100% surrender, love and faith. Yeah, as you said, faith. These three things are very, very important. Your mind has been perturbed upon seeing the horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. You asked for it, so now let it be finished. You know, my devotee, be free from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. So after the universal form, Arjun only desired. Arjun only wanted the Lord to show him the universal form. Then here, Arjun is then telling him now, please, I don't want to see it anymore, right? And then he says, okay, let it be finished. You want to see my four-handed form? He came into his four-handed form because he had the four representatives of our life, conch shell, mace, then disc, and the four things I said. What are the four things? The Sudarshan Chakra, okay?
Lotus flower.
The lotus
The
flower.
Sudarshan Chakra.
Yes, the lotus flower, the Sudarshan Chakra, the conch shell, and the mace, yeah? The Gada, yeah. The Gada, mace. So he says now, and these are all the four things in our life, how we have to represent them, okay? So why did Arjun want to see the four-arm form? This is the reason he wanted to, you know, you always go everything step by step. After seeing that big universal form, back into the two-armed form, because God can manifest into anything. So Arjun God wanted to show him even the four ideals of life with the four hands. Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, while speaking thus to Arjun, displayed his real four-armed form, and at last he showed him the two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjun. Arjun was fearful. When Arjun, so this now Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, because Sanjay also had divine eyes. Arjun got the Divya Chakshu, okay? Only two people got it. So, only two people saw this universal form. Imagine, Dhritarashtra, initially Krishna wanted to give this divine eyes to Divya Shakti, to Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra was not just by birth, he was not blind. He was also blinded in the mind. So he told, I don't want that. Give it to Sanjay, give it to my secretary. I don't want that. Yeah? So when he said that, then what happened? Right? He said, I don't want that. So we even sometimes we are given something which we refuse. And at that time, apne nathi kehta, Gujarati again is a saying, Lakshmi chandlo karvaave tyare modu dhova na javai. So when the Lakshmi is coming to, give you something, you don't go and say, let me go and wash my face first, right? You just accept it there and then. So time is very important, right? And here even he says, time I am. Bear with the time, move with the time. One Chanakya Pandit said, 1 second of your life gone is not going to be bought by millions of dollars. Millions of dollars will not buy that second or that minute. If it was, 4:45 and today's date and today's year, that will never come back. So 1 second even will not be bought by millions of dollars. So appreciate time, whatever time. Don't waste time. Try and do something or the other creative with yourself. Don't waste your time. When Arjun thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, my mind is now pacified and I am restored to my original nature. Because Arjun was also very scared, but he came back to his original nature. The Blessed Lord said, my dear Arjun, the form which you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. So even the demigods can't see this form. What to speak of us? Because there even maybe there's not 100% faith, love and purity. The form which you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas or by undergoing serious penances or by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Okay, we just went through this, that all these things are important, but he said you still can't see that form. My dear Arjun, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood. Undivided. The key word here is undivided. Don't divide your love for so many. Yes, of course, you have to project love for everything, but in your heart, it's Him. Don't divide everything, right? Undivided devotional service. Can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly? Only in this way can you enter into my mysteries of my understanding. It is very hard to see God, but it's still very easy. It's the hardest thing, and yet it's the easiest thing. If you have faith, you have love, you surrender, then it's not difficult. But if you have too many squabbles going on in your mind, is this right, is this wrong, is this, listen to your heart, listen to your heart, listen to your heart. Your heart will always guide you correctly. Your mind will deviate you, people will deviate you here and there and there and there, but your heart will not, right? My dear Arjun, one who is engaged in my pure devotional service, free from contaminations of previous activities and free from mental speculation. Listen here very carefully. Free from contaminations. What do you mean by contaminations? When something dirty is touching you, you said, I've become contaminated. I need to go and shower, okay? So many things can contaminate you, and you want to go, you cleanse yourself with a bath and all that. So he says contaminations of previous activities. Whatever previous karmas you've done, cleanse yourself, right? You cleanse yourself with that. Previous activities and from mental speculations, who is friendly to every living entity, certainly comes to me. So who is friendly to everyone? You have to be friendly with everyone, every living entity. Keyword here is living entity. You cannot be very friendly. You can say, I'm very friendly to everyone, but I hate my dog, or I hate this, cow, or I hate this animal, or I hate this person, or I hate this caste, or this creed, or this religion, or don't have that. Because he says, who is friendly to every living entity. Be friendly even to an ant, be friendly even to a... Again I say, Prabhupada always says, be friendly. I mean, you see God in a lion's heart, but that does not mean you go and embrace a lion, otherwise you'll be eaten, right? So you'll be his dinner. So but be friendly to every living entity at its own pace. Certainly comes from me. So this was the last verse, and now we'll just go through the summary of the whole chapter. Okay, very quickly the summary. Arjun has been Shri Krishna's friend, companion and cousin, and yet it is only in the battlefield of Kurukshetra that he beholds the cosmic vision. Imagine, he was his friend all the time, but only on that battlefield when he really totally surrendered. So total surrendering is very important. The Lord prepared him for this by teaching him the truth. Now you see, before the Lord had never told him about the Atma, like what is in the chapter 2, you are a soul, you're not this body, though they were together all the time. But this, he got an opportunity, and because of that opportunity about the Jivatma, the original, this is when he understood. So knowledge, he got the knowledge, and after the knowledge, he could surrender. Now, I'll just tell you a very small story. I think they're okay with time. Just 5 more minutes. Story of a man going to a king's palace. Okay. There was a man, he wanted to go and see the king's palace. He really had never seen the king before. He'd never seen the palace before. And he told this person, please, every day he used to come and stand at the gate. So one day, one of the ministers said, okay, he asked the king, one man is always wanting to see you. Can I bring him in? He says, okay, fine. On certain day, bring him in. So he brought him in. He came. There were so many gates. So he came to the first gate. And at the first gate, there was a beautifully dressed person. But he was just a guard. Okay. And he says, oh, is this the king? Is this the king? And this minister said, no. Further. Then they went to the second gate. Second gate, there was another minister standing. Oh, this must be the king. Oh, he started, oh, you're the king. You're the king. And he says, no, I'm not the king. I'm just a minister. Go further. He went further, and there was even a chief minister there. And he started bowing down to the third gate. He says, oh, you must be the king. And he started bowing down to him. And he says, no, I'm not the king. And he went further in the further gate and further. Ultimately, when he came to the last, when, the door opened and he went into the room, and the king was turned the other way around. And he says, now, where is the king? He kept on saying, if those are not the king, where can I see the king? And the king just turned. And of course, the king was much more beautifully dressed, much more higher level than the ministers, than the guards, everybody. And he was just stunned and perplexed. And then he thought, okay, fine. So this is about going through the whimsical. We think this is the one, this is it. We jump from here to here to here. Maybe he could have just stood at one gate and said, this is the king. And I believe in this one. The truth was not revealed to him. So until and unless the truth is not revealed to you, you will not know who the king is. You will not know who God is. So revealing of the truth comes from the Shastra, right? Everything is in the Shastra, right? All the scriptures, very important. And this is a condensed form, only 700 verses, only 18 chapters, but has everything in it, everything. Okay, so we always say that God is omniscient. What do these words signify? I have some questions, okay? We have been told that a spark of the same divinity also resides in us. Have you ever realized that Shakti that is hidden in each one of us? Have you ever realized what that Shakti is? We've never realized. Kshetragna is very important. Kshetragna is knowing yourself. Very important to know yourself. Yeah? If we are a spark of the Supreme, our capacity, we don't even use 0.00001% of our brains. And we've transmigrated through 8.4 million species of life. Out of that 400,000 species of human life, then we get this understanding, and yet we want to waste it behind that little thing, mine, me, mine, quarrel and hypocrisy and all that. But step up above it and see how beautiful your life is, how beautiful death is, and how beautiful your transmigration is going to be, right? What efforts can we make to realize the true nature of the self, the Atma within us? What efforts would you make? What specifically can you do to grow into this consciousness? Anybody wants to answer this question? Anybody wants to answer this question? What efforts can we make to realize the true nature of the self? What efforts can we make? Anyone?
Do devotional service.
Yes.
Meditations, pranayama.
Yeah. What else? You know, we can be doing devotional service, we can be doing meditations, but if our mind is not pure, all that is a waste. We should do that. All that is very important, Shobha. Very nicely answered. But in a pure state of mind. Purify yourself between hatred. Remove that word hatred in your dictionary. Project love for every living entity. In the previous verse, the last verse, he said, see me in every living entity, even in an ant. I told you the story of King Bharat, right? How he transmigrated from a deer into the king. So, meditation, pranayams, devotion, all that is important. But beyond that, your faith should be strong, undivided. Remember, he said undivided faith. And what else? One plus point. Your love should be undivided, unconditional. No conditions, no conditions. See everybody equally. Do not have discrimination. Do not have discrimination. Do not have any discrimination against people, because you will not be able to transcend up if you keep on discriminating people. If you keep on being judgmental against people, you are like this and she's like this, and no, don't do that. Yeah. So what efforts can we make? So those are the efforts we can make. And as God always says, you come one step forward, I'll come 10 steps forward and hold your hand. He will guide us from within our heart. Okay? We are created by God and we carry a fragment of His divine spirit within us, but we cannot become God-like until we strive to shape ourselves in His image, right? Despite external appearances and difficult conditions, our true nature is potentially divine. Our true nature is to be divine, right? But external material things are pulling us down. When we realize this, there is nothing more to be said. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing beyond this. Realize this. Realize this and realize this. Yeah? So now I want you to all to, and now this another one little story. I think this is a very great artist, Maxwell something, Gordon, and he drew a painting. There's a painting you can see there of Jesus Christ holding a light and knocking on a door. And somebody told this artist that you haven't drawn, you can see that on the PowerPoint, you haven't got a handle on that door. And he says, yeah, because this is a, I'm just going to show, this is the painting which the door doesn't open from outside, it opens only from inside. And what is that door? What is the door which opens from inside? Which is the door which opens from inside? Heart. Your heart. God is knocking on your heart with the light. He comes with the shining light. Remember, Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnanajam tama nashyami atma bhavastu jnanadipena bhashyate. Relating to Jesus, relating to Krishna, saying this, the same thing. That with a shining lamp of knowledge, right? With a shining lamp of knowledge, gives you the understanding by which you can come to me. This is said in the one of the seed verses of the 10th chapter. So, Him with a shining lamp of knowledge. So here, again, God is coming with a shining lamp of knowledge, knocking at the door of your heart, which you can only open from inside. It cannot be opened externally. Nobody can open your heart door except you. So, Learn that, try to understand that. Can we really understand God? God is the goal of life. And long have we chanted hymns and recited scriptures and rung temple bells and offered unending prayers while our minds have strayed afar. Long have we kept God out of our lives. It is time to call him in. We go to temples, we ring tung bells, and we do all sorts of prayers and austerities and fasting and penances, but give him place here, right? And you see, it's time for us to call him inside here now, okay? All right, so this is to know God is to love, right? We finished today. Just 1 minute of meditation. Thank you all very much. Just say Om Shanti, okay? Just deep breaths in and out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Your heart door is closed. Feel the beautiful form of God knocking at your door. There is no handle outside. Only he is holding the light. Only the light. Inhale and exhale. Deep breaths in and out. Now open, the door opens. Open the door with a tongue, with a beautiful sound. What happens when you open the door from inside? What are you seeing? Energy of God. In which form are you seeing him? Meditate on this form. Meditate on the light. Open the door of your heart. Open the door of your heart. Open gently the door of your heart. And you will be able to see God, feel God, hear God in every way. Because he is within. Inhale and exhale. Feel that love projecting from your heart. Just take a few deep breaths in and out, feeling love for everyone, projecting positive love for everyone, every living entity. God resides in everyone's heart. Beautiful happiness, energy flows through your heart and mind. Inhale and exhale. And very, very gently rub your palms. Rub your palms. Bring your palms against your eyes. Bring your palms against your eyes and